ジタバタせずにコーヒーでも入れよう。
Christ. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Kaiju, where this morning we're having technical difficulties, and we're going to talk about Bandai, 1990 to 1995. Maybe, or maybe I'll just go upstairs and go back to bed. I don't know. Joining me, as always, he's got a mouthful of coffee. There he is, Rich Eso. He's muted too.
Bam. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Brian, and everybody that's tuning in. I'm almost choking on coffee. Choking on coffee and kaiju. Let's go.
Oh, God. What is happening? Also joining us back from a bout with COVID. I'm going to unmute him before I put him on the stage. Mike Russo's here.
Hi, good morning.
Hello.
The morning of a million technical difficulties.
Oh, God. There were a lot. And also joining us, the co-founder of Club Tokyo and just an all-around swell peach of a guy, Mr. Richard Cox.
Hello. How y'all doing?
We're good, I think. Yep. It's too. We'll find out shortly. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks everybody for tuning in. It is a 3-day weekend for most people, hopefully, unless you're working retail or some other essential job like
airport
ambulance driver or airporter. Cole, good morning. Godzilla Man 2000, good morning. Nev, good morning. Are you in Florida? I thought Nev was in Florida.
Yeah.
Hello. How are you? Mark, good to see you. Good to see you. Ban. Who we banning?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Bam.
Probably me. You're banned.
I mean, we can ban somebody.
It was
something terrible.
Banned anybody in a while?
I got somebody to ban.
Hi, whoever you are.
We can ban her.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Hello, Alex. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Yeah, so sorry for the late start. We did have a bit of a snafu because we realized that there's a 100 slide limit to the presentation, and we had 135 slides. So I was scrambling to make a second slideshow.
Yes. You got a lot of photos.
Yeah, it's going to be a photo heavy slide show, and there is going to be a test at the end. So please take notes.
It's going to be very nerd heavy.
It's an essay. Yeah. It's an essay test. Sorry, guys.
You get Russo and I in the room together.
It's an essay test. You are not allowed to use Chat GPT to help.
You're going to have to back up all of your points.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's right. Yeah. Toys. Before we get started, Rich and Mike and other Rich, the Riches and the Mikes and not the Bryans, all got the new cool King Ghidorah.
Phantom colors.
Actually, a pretty impressive.
That was pretty good. But don't do it again.
When I'm in the shower, choking on bath soap and whatnot, I do my roars. So yeah, this is the new. What are they even calling this? The
Phantom colors.
Phantom colors. So
that's what they call it.
Okay, so Phantom colors. This is based on the original concept design for what Ghidorah was supposed to look like, but I was actually just reading August's book that he did a couple of years ago, just to get up to speed on the design. But looked like this is what E.G. Tsuburaya wanted to do, right? Or no, he wanted to do this, but they ended up going all gold, as we know. But yeah, I dig it. Very, very nicely done.
Yeah, it's cool. I love it.
Yeah, this thing was packaged much better than the Dream 5 one was. They put a cardboard triangle in the wings. So this is what I think This is as far as I think the wings are supposed to go, but I think it's much better. And mine and Rich's, at least, the heads look a lot further apart than the Dream 5.
The wings on mine, which I can go pull out
just
if you
like
like, are even wider than that. Mine are almost like this.
And these things are impossible to fix because the vinyl wants to reset.
Yeah.
It won't go back. I've tried.
And there's the box.
Yep. No, and I think not being colored gold means the details come out a lot better in the heads, especially since they can paint the teeth this time.
Yeah. It looks really nice. I
nice
actually really like it. Yeah, it's cool.
Brian,
Really
you
cool.
have the Vinyl Paradise one, though.
Yeah.
Which is, the best one.
I know. That is true. I don't want to go get it because
I'm still going to buy from you.
Slightly above my head. But yeah, it is awesome. Nev, what the hell are you talking about? I didn't give you a coffee mug? All right, I'll fix that. I'll get you a coffee mug, buddy. I promise. If we sold coffee mugs, comment in the comments. If we offer these coffee mugs, would people buy them? What?
You got to make a T Public store.
A store?
Yeah.
Is that all I got to do? And then it's just I don't have to do any work?
Yeah.
Nev knows. Only VP is real.
Oh.
Because then you can connect it to the YouTube channel right from your homepage, like I just did with the Fresh Vinyl stuff about a month or so ago. I'm like, where the rock have I been living under?
Okay. I didn't realize that was okay.
I'll show you.
We'll learn. A new book will come out and we learn so much. We got two Richards.
I got this one recently.
What does it mean? One's a cyborg. Which one uses a cyborg?
Oh, well, Rich has the cool cyborg tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, wrong arm. Yeah. So
this is just pure chaos. Rich, Mike, hold that back up. I want to take a gander at it. Oh yeah, that's the 72. That's
it's 70. Yeah, it's the 68 figure, just new arms. But I think the paint on the mouth, they got rid of all that gross pink gums.
Yeah.
And the eyes don't have a dot in the middle, and I think that's better off.
He had dental surgery.
Yeah. I like it. I thought I was pretty negative towards it until I finally got it. I like it. Now I like it.
Is Big Ken here? Big Ken. Coffee and Andor actually occurred 5 minutes before the show started. Well, 5 minutes before the show would have started on time. Had I realized prior to that my slides were all messed up. But you know what? Now we know. And as they say, knowing is half the battle. All right, let's get into it because, like I said, we do have a decent amount of stuff. So we are going to talk Bandai in the 90s. Which is definitely not my area of expertise. So I'm going to defer to the experts on this, and I'm just going to run the slides, and I'm going to put up pertinent comments on the screen for you gents to, look at here, and we will hopefully, let's all cross our fingers here. Hopefully, there we go.
There we go.
There we go. Ta-da! Look at that. Shout out to Rich for telling me that you could, in fact, add slides to the thing because I previously was just uploading hundreds of pictures, which was taking a long time. And then also, big shout out to my 12-year-old daughter who taught me how to make a slideshow because I did not know what the fuck I was doing.
Oh, we're old.
Go team.
Yeah.
Go Kaiju.
Go team old.
Yeah. I texted her. She was upstairs and I was like, come down here. And she's like, what? And then she came down and I was like, I need to make. I was like, how do I make a slideshow on Google? And she was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. So shout out to the Utes. All right. So Bandai 1990 to 1995, starting from 1990 to 1991 with Gigan.
Nobody's favorite.
It's terrible.
Hey, it's not a good figure. That's my contribution to the Gigan.
No, but you know what? When I look at it, it still just screams classic Bandai with the black shiny vinyl and the gold and the silver. Like when I think like 90s, early 90s Bandai, this is exactly what I picture.
Yeah, it's a part of those with all the Trail Monsters tags that just all line up and they're kind of their own set.
I mean,
but the reason because they didn't add the center fin was because it's a kid's toy, right? I mean, if I remember correctly, that's why they didn't include the center fin. But then again,
I don't think anyone was going off. I don't know, Rich. I don't think anyone was going off of good reference material with this one.
I mean, it's still
the only problem.
It's still pointy and dangerous.
Yeah.
Could have been a molding issue. Who the hell knows? But there's the tag.
And so yeah, does it have the tag number, the tag variations?
No, if I put every tag, we'd be here forever. So I just we only have one picture of the damn tag because I just wanted to show what
I was just going to mention there are variations as we go.
But I'll point out it says 89 right there on the tag, but none of these guys came out in 89. I think this is from the 89 issue 64 Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. I think they just kept the tags the same as they were. It didn't
see is the perforated version too.
Yeah. Because on the foot of the Gigan it says 1990. So I would go on the stamp over the tag. So
the other thing about a lot of those with the tags from that period was when they released them with the new tag version, there are also subtle variations. Sometimes some usually subtle variations. There are paint variations that go with them as well. And I don't think a lot of people know that there are paint variations of these figures and Hydra too.
Yeah, I got a couple of examples of that. These are all my photos from my own collection. So I do have some pictures of the paint variations as well. Good. So we'll see that going forward. Anguillus was also 1990. So again, you get the classic dark vinyl. You got the gold. I like this. You can definitely see where the Dream 5 version came from in terms of the pose and the claws. Even though obviously that's a better figure, you can see. I personally think they digitally scan the old toys and then update them digitally, and just they do it that way. That's probably why it looks so similar. That's just me though.
Yeah, I love the this particular figure. This is the first Bandai I ever bought. Like I didn't have access to them like you did, Mike. Out here in the boonies. So when I found a comic book shop that had them, this was the first one I ever bought. And I actually sold mine to Scott Biggs. Happy birthday, by the way, Scott Biggs. It's his birthday today. I sold it to him. And then at G-Fest the following year, he brought it and gave it back to me. And here it is. Because he said he felt bad that he bought my first ever Bandai figure and that I should have it. So he gave it back to me. So
that's
awesome. Still have it in my collection.
This Anguillus, the Gigan, also Mechagodzilla, Gamma, and Gauss were my first 5 I ever bought at Pony Toys. July 1991. So this guy and the Gigan mean a lot to me because those were my first Pony Toys. Most of what's in the slideshow came from Pony Toys.
My first was Hydra, actually, which I still have him.
Then we moved to Megalon, which is another one of them. It's decent. Like the arm movement on this guy, I've always thought it's really wonky and weird. The arms don't really articulate outwards. They're just sort of, they sort of like, I don't know how you would explain it. It's an odd figure. It's almost like a statue more than a figure.
Like penguin arms.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. These are 2 different versions. I mean, I can see obviously the colors are different.
Copper on one, gold on the other.
Gold on the other. Is there a more rare version of?
I don't think there's any way of telling. Personally,
yeah, I don't think anyone. It's one of those things where so many variations that nobody really cares about unless you just are one of those people like us.
You have them side by side.
If there were tag variations, I think people care a lot more, especially from this period than paint. This is before, there were. I mean, we weren't even having theater figures at this point. This is before there were like a lot.
They didn't do variants.
Purposefully made variants, yeah. So I mean, I think they get overlooked and people just don't care, which is fine. That means you can get them all at a reasonable price.
Well, like maybe they just ran out of that shade of gold that week or whatever.
And probably they were made. Russo can correct me if I'm wrong, but they were made on 2 different years of runs of the figures because we mentioned the Destroy Monsters figures were released in multiple years. So probably a close approximation of the.
Yeah, Rich, I was going to mention that because what's fun, all the 290s figures, the 1990 figures, and a lot of the 91 figures got a reissue in 92. So you'll see the same figures with a 92 tag and no perforation. I thought one of these Megalons, when I first pulled them out of storage a couple of years ago, was a 92. Turns out both tags say 1989 on them.
Interesting.
So they're the same release time frame, but the paint is different.
I feel like I want to pull mine down now and look, but we don't need that on video.
And for those that don't know, I have one. The Megalon was heavily bootlegged. I don't remember, during the 90s.
Yeah.
I have one in the Bandai room, and the paint clearly stands out that it's missing paint on his eyes and on the back, and the bottom stamp is, puttied over when they made the mold.
Yeah, you've shown that one before, I think, on a fresh vinyl.
Yeah.
It's like little interesting, yeah.
I think the easiest way to tell is there's no gold paint on the eyes. I think it's either green paint or not painted at all. I don't own one of those, but I think the eyes are the biggest giveaway.
Hi, Jess. Bye, Jess. Have fun at work. Rodan for the ultimate Rodan collector. Yeah, so this Rodan, this is another one that's, a lot of these early ones just have that, they do have a vibe to them where they're more like almost statues more than, toys.
Yeah.
But, with the Rodan, I don't know how you're going to give soft vinyl articulation that actually works. With Rodan,
yeah. Not really much you can do. I guess you can make his neck and his legs swivel.
And I did show a Rodan now would probably be the exact same thing, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. This one really caught my eye back in the day. Now, is there different versions of this Rodan with the back spray? Am I making that
Memorial box?
Okay.
Yeah,
if you go back to that figure, I don't know about the suit, but the flying models had the green and gold painted on the back. This wasn't Bandai getting cute. This was actually on the props. So it's cool though. I don't really see. Rich, you have X Plus 56 Rodans. Do any of them have the green and yellow on the back?
Hold on.
This is something I actually really want to know.
I will not do, which is good.
I want to know.
Oh God.
Hang on, everyone. A live look.
No.
It's like just the gold stripe.
Yeah.
I know it's on the flying models. I've seen it on the movie itself. I don't know if the suit had it, so maybe it didn't. But
interesting. I feel like
one
it's
of the
just
little flying X Plus accessories.
Yeah.
That has it.
Or maybe they were just like, this figure needs some freaking color. You know what I mean? Like, otherwise it's just the sort of what is this? What color is this? Not quite brown. Not quite burnt umber. Yeah.
Chocolate brown.
Yeah. It's AI. Yes. I'm AI.
There we go. We're all AI.
Mothra's not AI.
No.
Yeah. I don't have this one.
This is another one that I've seen like lighter color vinyl versions of this. This is, I think, the first release of it, but I've seen some that have a lighter brown vinyl.
And more gold than copper.
Yeah. Mothras are hard to get pictures of. There's Minya.
Bless his heart.
Oh, terrible figure.
I think he's cute for what he is and when he came out.
Yeah.
It's better than the bull mark.
What?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Yeah. Who said that? The bull mark is just.
It looks more than the bull mark.
I think you're mistaken. You're thinking of the Marzon.
Oh yeah,
there's the little baby.
That one. Yeah,
that's the Marzon.
that is.
God,
no!
You're gonna wake up screaming tonight, everybody watching. Link it to
the bull marks is really quite good figure. I think
it's just too big.
Sure. Then we have one Mechanicong, just one.
Which is a great toy.
It is a great toy. And
one of the few Mechanicongs that were licensed. It's not some sort of boot or someone trying to get away with robot gorilla or whatever the hell some companies do.
Yeah.
Robot gorilla. I forgot about that.
That tag that's a perforation on there, correct?
Yeah, and if you can look really close, it's taped. Because this is my original Mechanicong from Pony Toys. I never upgraded it. I didn't want to upgrade all of them because it has the original Pony Toys sticker, and that is very nostalgic. So a couple of them I hung on to. So this is when I did, but the perforation was tearing, so I taped it.
Did they all have perforations though?
Ooh,
no. Up until
I didn't think so.
Up until the end of 1991. Then in 1992, they got rid of the perforation.
Yeah.
Cool.
something just to piggyback, but talking about tags at the moment. I was just doing photos with the 64 figures, for my Bandai thing that I'm doing. And the crappy thing, but it's expected thing with these older Bandai figures, I was taking photos of the 64 88 reissue, and the plastic hanger broke while I was taking pictures. And I was like, mother effer. And but that's bound to happen. The figure's what, 30-something years old.
Yeah.
And if you're handling it, God, I was being careful too. So getting Mike, like you were saying, wanted to upgrade. I went on the Yahoo Japan. I'm like, now I want to get a new one. It's just a collector in me, but so just got to be careful with the tags.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Luckily, people don't really. There's no real. It doesn't hurt the value as long as you have the tag for people who care about that. But I'm like you. It's like my tags are attached.
Yeah,
it's just that weird.
I got to find. I have them somewhere in the house. I got to find my plastic hangers, and I'll just retag it.
I'd rather have the hanger snap than the tag rip through the hanger.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed. Agreed.
I concur.
Yep.
So we talked about last time we did Bandai. What are we talking? Like a year and a half ago now, guys. We did talk about the Great Monster Series figures, and Rich, I don't have it. I'm sure both Riches have this. Obviously, the rubber one from 1984.
Oh,
you want to get yours?
Do you want me to pull it out?
Yeah, go ahead.
We can
on camera. How dare you? It's a family show.
I have to figure out where I put it.
A behind-the-scenes look.
The one that was ravishing the universe for love.
This bad boy.
Yes.
God, I love this box. Is this not the
That's a great box
ever?
It's so cool.
Oh,
so cool.
Oh, wait.
And it's like textured cardboard too. I'm pulling out. I'm sure.
While you're opening that, as I was taking photos of mine for my Mothra episode of Bandai figures, somebody had pointed it out that this figure, it looks like it's sculpted to be the 61 Mothra.
Yeah.
But it has red eyes like the 64 Mothra. So...
Yeah. Can you see the eyes in the bag? I can take them out of his bag. I don't care. Yeah, there's his eyes.
That's odd because it's definitely the 61 Mothra. There's no doubt about that.
61 had blue eyes.
Yes.
So
it's a beautiful toy.
Yep.
It's really
it's pretty well overshadowed by the other two Great Monsters figures, but it's so well done. The box is so well done.
The big one is like flat. It doesn't have a lot of height to it. It's like it's flattened out a bit. So it's not as nice looking as the rubber one, but it's big.
Yeah.
The rubber one it just looks good from tip to tip. Yep.
Oh.
And what's interesting, if you go back to the tag of the Mothra, that's the 68 Mothra.
Yeah.
Yep.
But all those early tags, the image pictures on them are all random.
Bandai still does that though.
Yeah, if you go back even earlier, like the original 62 had a 64 on it.
Yeah.
For example.
The 64 had a 67 on it.
67, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to
still the best Godzilla ever.
Yes, this is everybody's favorite.
Best Bandai Godzilla ever.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I remember getting this guy and just loving it.
It's just so cool.
Yeah, so that one, how many variations with there's the made in Korea version, there's the made in Japan version, the variation in the eyes, there's the which we'll get to, the blister pack version.
The evolution box version. I think there's in their teeth variant, but that might be tied with one of the eye variants that you were talking about too.
That I don't know about the teeth. I know the eye variants.
I can remember.
I think what I loved about this guy is at the time, like the Bandai figures weren't big. They were like maybe topped off at like 7-8 inches. But they were overscaling the movie figures. Like this guy was bigger than anybody else. And when I was younger and got this guy, I was really impressed by it.
And he stands straight upright. He's not like, hunched over like most, he doesn't have that same angle of a slope. He's like standing straight up.
Yeah, it feels like a really substantive figure. There's obviously the tag on the different figure, but there's the tag.
Yeah. And speaking of that figure, There's,
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, all they did was really change out the heads from the original 64.
it's lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It couldn't even
Especially
be
when you
like
compare it to Mecha Ghidorah.
Yeah.
the vinyl is like iridescent with like, you know, the sheen on it. It does not even any gold paint on it.
Yeah.
It kind of got lazy with it.
Yeah.
But I know there are variants where the horns aren't as pointy.
Yeah, and that's the safety one I think that Rich was mentioning earlier. The horns are definitely scrubbed down in later releases.
I gotta go look at mine now.
The summer of 92 or 93, I think. I was on my college break. I worked part-time at McDonald's, and there was this blonde girl that worked with me that I thought was like, she was just like a smoke show. And she would always talk about her brother and what a nerd he was and this, that, and the other. So anyway, after a few weeks of talking to her, she like invites me over to her house to hang out. So I go over to her house, and we walk by her brother's bedroom, and he's got a shelf full of Bandai Godzilla stuff. And I lost my shit. I was like, "Oh my God." And that was the end of the date.
But perhaps the beginning of another beautiful relationship.
Yeah, I was like, "Is your brother home? Can I hang out with him?"
Yeah.
But every time I see this specific Ghidorah and this specific Godzilla, those are the two things that stood out on this dude's shelf, and I was just like flabbergasted. You know what I mean? And she had spent like, "Oh, my brother's such a nerd, I hate him." And meanwhile, I'm like, "Oh yeah, brother's cool as shit."
I still get excited every time I see that 91 Godzilla.
Yeah. So, and we got the Mecha King Ghidorah, which is great.
Figure.
Nice and big. These, you know, back when Bandai figures could be really big and be kids' toys.
And I know we're stopping before we get to the Forever series, but the Forever Ghidorah is like, holy shit.
Yep.
Like that's a fucking great figure.
Yeah, it's
then they took the paint job from that, as we now, you know, all the 6-inch versions, which was such an upgrade for the paint job.
Yeah, I mean, look at those. That's
now we got a new 6-inch version coming out at the end of the summer. I wonder how that's going to look.
As a bad Bandai collector,
a new 6-inch Mecha King Ghidorah coming out at the end of the summer.
Oh, really?
I feel like based off of what they're doing with this new 6-inch stuff, is probably going to be, I would assume it's going to be very similar to what we already have, just maybe a little smaller. So, but that's cool. Hey, more accessibility and retail price. So
now I don't have this Ghidorah or the Mecha King Ghidorah. The heads are the same, correct?
It's
I think they're bigger.
They didn't just repurpose those heads and necks.
No, those are new sculpts.
It's big.
Interesting.
It's like at least a good 2 or 3 inches bigger than the Ghidorah.
See, I feel like I should know that. All the Bandais I've sold at G-Fest over the years, I would have noticed.
Yeah.
This thing's like a
he's
whole,
huge.
It's a foot tall at least.
Yeah. I mean, he towers over everything else beautifully.
And then we have the open mouth.
Big scale.
Yeah. That's the one. Yeah, I have this guy.
Well, this guy has stayed in production for a very long time.
It's got that strange nub on the end of his tail that I feel like looks like they were going to add another segment to.
Yeah.
But then never got around to doing it.
The tail is very thick for this.
Yeah.
It's a very thick tail. Yeah.
And
believe it or not, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. So depending on where you have it stored and how you have it in the box,
is it flat?
It gets squishy soft. There was one time I remember checking on this, and this was all soft, so it kind of weighed down on itself.
Now, Rich, when did yours come out? Does yours have the Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah icon on the box?
No, I have the 84 on the one side and the 91 on the other side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's on the original issue, there's a little picture of the poster art.
I don't think I have that one.
Yeah, it's a box. Yeah, it's a box.
The vinyl material was changed, which is why your tail got flattened. Because mine's as hard as a fucking rock.
That's the box I have. So I don't
kill somebody with mine.
Yeah.
So this was the reissue, like Mark just said. Then, boom. But
Good
awesome,
call, Mark.
Awesome.
It is a chungus.
Yes.
A chungus among us. Now we're moving on to 1992, the year I graduated from high school.
Wow, I was 9.
Oh, God, I'm an old man.
I was 13.
I'm an old man. All right, so this is the Godzilla and the oops, I didn't want to do that. The Godzilla and the Godzillasaurus, correct?
Yeah.
Set. Okay. Cool. Anything interesting about that we need to know?
It's just a throwaway. No one cares about it.
Well, this is definitely the rarest thing we're showing today.
Oh, it is. Okay.
It's hard to find it because unlike, like the later Megaguirus set, that bubble's just glued onto the packaging, and that Godzilla figure is heavy, and it either tore off the backing or the bubble cracked after 30 some odd years. So it is really hard to find this thing looking like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen one that doesn't have a cracks in it. Like if you show me one that has no cracks in it, I'm going to assume there's something wrong with it elsewhere. You're lucky. Honestly, I think mine is probably one of the better ones I've seen, if I'm being honest, because my bubble isn't really yellow. Usually, I mean, that's what usually happens. The glue will separate because of the weight, or I mean, these things weren't meant to last.
Yeah,
So
it wasn't
you
meant
can
to
see
be
in
in the
the
package
picture
for
from-
30 years. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see from the picture on Club Tokyo there. You can see where the bubble's yellowing out and it's becoming brittle. And I can even see there's a crack running down Godzillasaurus right there. They're just not available in mint. If you found one mint on mint card, I can't even imagine what the value would be. I got mine here just to show. I mean, I don't know if you can tell. I mean, the bubble's still really clear. But
Hang on, I'll get you on the big screen.
yeah,
Here.
but I don't know if
Oh
you
yeah,
really,
that's
I
beautiful.
don't know if you can see here, but like, and I'm keeping it in an archable box to stop that browning, but under Godzilla's feet right there, there's a big crack. But that's about the only crack on mine is under his foot. And I'm really fortunate for that. And I do fully expect one day I'm going to come in here and something else is going to crack because it's just not meant to last.
I don't know what they were thinking packaging them that way, though. They could have put them in a box.
Yeah.
Saving money.
There are, I mean, that's another thing it adds to is it is the Godzilla at least is a variation on the 91.
I know the tail on the one in the blister pack is turned a little differently so it could fit.
Yeah. And I assume in theory there's no hole where the tack would go, but that's a stupid variation.
Baragon.
I love this Baragon figure. It's great.
Baragon is the first figure I remember exploding in value, like around 1995.
It was rare.
Right? I remember
really
people were asking for it, and that was the first one I remember people were like charging stupid money for.
I mean, Bandai still rules at G-Fest.
I mean, this is a beautiful figure. Look at this damn thing.
Yeah. I even like the metallic blue on him.
Yeah, it's an awesome figure.
Toy.
Yeah. Oh, Rich had his ready too.
Yeah. Show the noses.
Mine is
to get the figure without a paint rub on the nose, I'd say is pretty damn hard.
That's tough.
I don't think mine has maybe the tiniest of pinpricks, but I mean, when I bought mine brand new from Pony Toys, it had a pretty aggressive rub, brand new. This is not the Pony Toys one, but I had to look really hard to find one that looked this good.
I love this figure. I think it's awesome. I love the face sculpt. It's great.
Oh, there you go. You can see in my photo.
Yeah, he's a great figure.
It is a tiny little bit, but otherwise,
he's cool.
Uh,
Mothra.
Great toy.
Yeah. I don't have the Mothra. I do have the Batra.
I miss those hard plastic wings.
well, this is the smallest Showa one. This isn't the Godzilla versus Mothra.
And he's fuzzy.
Oh, okay. I don't have this one either.
See, mine came out of the box. Actually, there's foam inside that box. Holding it in place. See, mine came out of the box when I was 13, 14, and it sat on a shelf and got really dirty. And I upgraded it for a perfect figure in a really fucked up box. So I put it in the original box. You see the Pony Toys label still on it. But the figure itself it's cool. So,
You can see the flocked body too.
Yeah.
The little fuzz. The one bummer with it, and I love the figure, is it's not like I know you're gonna get to the 92 one. It doesn't have the stand and the feet.
Yeah.
And it's more tossed together. But that doesn't mean it's not a cool figure. I mean, how many 64 Mothras do we have at that size? Again, those beautiful translucent wings too.
I love how they did the wings with the texture on top, the paint's on the bottom. It's translucent.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's better than any vinyl wing. Yeah. I mean, it'll break easy.
Ooh, another one that was rare for a long time.
This one came in a box as well, correct?
Yes.
Box.
Yeah. Do we have a picture of the box?
Yep, it's there somewhere.
Yep, there we do. There it is.
Original Pony Toys box.
Remember when he was called the Stump all the time?
Yep.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it hasn't aged. It hasn't aged the best.
But I think it was pretty impressive when it was new, though.
Yeah.
Just the size and the rubber tendrils like that. I thought that was cool. I mean, it doesn't hold up nowadays, but
the box is
30 some odd years old.
Yeah, exactly. The box is really cool too. And I don't think I'm saying anything people don't need to say already know, but I mean, look at these early, especially Bandai's from this period. These were very much these were kids' toys.
Yeah.
Which gets to what we're talking about, like scrubbing off the nubs of horns and stuff, so they're rounded, so little kids didn't step on them.
Yeah, exactly.
So remembering that, it's still a great toy, especially considering what the tech was at the time to make these toys.
Yeah,
I'm glad they did one. I mean, they didn't have to. I mean, they never
took
did it
forever. Like, we're not talking about a figure released in '89 here. We're talking about a '92, right? If I'm remembering.
Yeah. And if you think about it, I'm sure all of us have looked for Bandai, on Yahoo Japan, and you'll come across a lot on Yahoo Japan, and it's a bunch of Bandai figures, missing tags, thrown in a pile, paint rubbed, broken parts and whatnot because kids played with them. So
exactly.
I took this picture because I love how it shows the Godzilla collection lineup as
the lineup. Yeah, it's cool. Now we have Godzilla. This would be the what year?
That's the 92 Batagoji.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Mine's still the Pony Toys. Got the sticker on the back of the tag.
Yep.
There you go. The
poster. So do you want to talk about each of the 3 releases of that figure now, or as we go through?
Well, they're all in there when they were released. But yeah, this figure got reissued to shit. Like they kept this figure available for a long time.
And each of the 3 have significant vinyl, obviously tag variations, but significant vinyl and paint variations too.
Yes, they do.
I made a hobby out of figuring all that out at one point.
Better late than never, Greg.
So even without the tags, you can look at them and tell if it's the Bado, Rado, or a Mogagoji.
Yep.
Great toy.
What's your fun fact, Mark? We're waiting, Mark. I'm just kidding. Type it in there. I'll get it up on the screen. Here we have the Mothra larva, and then the larva, or excuse me, the Mothra final form, Imago.
Again, this one is just as beautiful as the 64, but it's got a stand and it's got
So this is the one that goes with the Batra, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So mine, I didn't photograph it out of the box because it's still got the original tape holding it closed. I bought this one from Brandon, 2011. Nice. So this is my 3rd one of these Mothras I bought.
Yeah.
My first one was defective and the wing broke. The second one just got discolored from being displayed.
That's another thing. Talking about these box figures. We're talking about yellowing plastic. I have some that are boxed and never been opened, but the tape's already gone brown and popped off and popped loose. So mint box is a question there if you're someone who cares about that.
And if you have all the Mothra trilogy figures, you have a lot of box Mothras with plastic.
You have a lot of box Mothras with little pieces of tape that are going to pop off if you care about that.
You got the larva Batra.
I love this figure.
Great figure. That was the most exciting one of all the 92s to me.
Yeah, I would say the first time I saw this guy, I was really impressed by it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My first Bandai.
This one is?
Yep.
Nice. And this one, I mean, you could do some damage with this if you're playing as a kid. You could mollywop somebody with that figure.
Yeah. Actually, if you throw it outside, it's like a boomerang. It comes right back.
Yeah.
It's both a boomerang and a club.
I gotta say, the newer 6-inch one, which is really the exact same size as this, is a nice sculpt. But they, a third of the way down the body, they stopped painting.
They stopped painting it. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
Which is common with Bandai's now, where suddenly the paint stops on the tail, just flat stop. And you're like, well, there it is.
Yeah. They're like, those kids won't care. And then here's the Imago form of Batra, which I do have this one.
Yeah.
It is a really pretty figure.
I think back on the 92 Mothra, I'll say just real quick, it was re-released in like 96 with the first Mothra movie. It got a completely different paint job and a completely different box. And
Also,
lost, if I remember, I can pull it out.
No stand and no flocking.
Yeah, it lost its accessories and none of the cool little fuzziness.
Yeah.
Straight.
My issue with this guy here is the legs just, God, man, you breathe on it wrong and the legs fall off. At least on mine.
It's hard to get them in because you don't want to put pressure on the body with those wings. So you
use a hair dryer to soften it up a little bit.
You put them in, just pray. I mean, this is the same figure box. When I took the picture, I put it together and then took it back apart again because this is my original Batra too. So
yeah, I have mine out. Like I said, it's a beautiful figure. I'm like, I'm not going to glue the legs into it, but I don't have the box, so I mean, I guess I could, because I'm never going to store it in the box.
It's not an expensive figure to get boxed, is it?
I don't know.
No.
I got this off David Dobko years ago.
It stayed affordable for a long time, but I'm thinking probably more now.
That's my problem is I don't keep up once I have something. I'm like, and then I find out a couple years later, I'm like, oh, okay.
Really nice sculpt though for this, like super
great.
Yeah.
Back on the Mothra, you don't have to go back to the photos. I have mine on display, and when I was putting it on display, one of the wings fell off.
Wow.
So I think also with age and time, the glue just doesn't hold.
Yeah, I don't know how they're attached, but
no, it's glued on, and it's a little slot that's pushed into the abdomen on the Mothra. So I managed to glue it, and I'm using, hope and prayers and thoughts that it stays on for now.
And that's another thing is like remembering that these wings on these things aren't attached vinyl; these are plastic, so they're hard and heavy. So yeah, I can see that happening. I'm glad it didn't break on you, man.
Yeah, it didn't break, and I mean it's on an IKEA Calac shelf, so if it falls off, it's not going to fall off far.
Yeah.
Or fall far. Worst case scenario, I'll put it back in the box and just display it like that, But these things happen. These figures are old. Glue's gonna just lose its integrity. Yeah. Plastic will fade, like on the blister pack stuff. Even when we start talking about clear vinyl figures, that stuff will yellow.
Well, look at the stand on my Batra. It's oxidizing.
Oh, like the metal?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not checking. I mean, it was displayed. I didn't do anything. It's 35 years old. It was displayed, and now it's doing that.
Yeah.
What can you do about it?
Interesting. All right, we're moving on to the year 1993. What goodies do we get? This is would be the year of
stuff that year.
Yeah. 93 was awesome.
93. Yeah, 93 did have some good stuff. Starting with Godzillasaurus.
Look at the price on that tag. $6.99. Pony Toys. $6.99.
Wow.
You can't get anything Godzilla for $6.99 now.
It's still a cool toy for the
I love it.
For the character. Yeah.
And of course, this is the same one from the Evolution set.
Yeah, I don't think there's any variations on the Saurus. I think it's just the Godzilla, right?
And just getting a vinyl of this character, it's rare in itself. Like, can you name any? I don't know.
And for some reason, thinking about him just reminded me to point out that so far in the figures we're talking about, these aren't like what you're used to if you don't buy these of the softer vinyl and Godzilla toys. Bandai's, these are like fucking hard vinyl.
Vinyl, yeah.
There's no give. These are solid toys.
You drop one on a hard floor, they're gonna crack.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, they are. There's no give like you used to. I mean that started around 93, right after this 94, if I remember.
I would say with the Godzilla stuff, it wasn't until Destroyer.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's Space Godzilla or Destroyer.
The Ultraman stuff was playing around with soft vinyl way before that. But
yeah.
There we have the tag for that boy.
So now in 93, they dropped the damn tags, and now it's all character tags.
Love it. And there's,
which I think is smart.
Yeah. Another thing I nerd out about on these that really has very little bearing on individual ones is the little Godzilla product sticker.
I love that old one with just the happy black Godzilla dancing or whatever he's doing.
He's got his arms up.
Right?
Yeah, he's like, yeah. And then I guess you said this was your first figure, Rich, was Hedera?
Yeah. Oh, look at that. They're the variations too.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my first. I got it from Club de Kaiju. That's how Jim and I got to know each other. We talk on the phone all the time. I'd talk to that man on the phone for like hours and hours.
Yeah, I used to call whenever I would order something. It would turn into like a 45-minute
and we just
conversation.
But this figure was like, for me, so cool because on some levels people think it kind of sucks because he's another stump, right? But look at his eyes.
They can't be bothered to even paint the sunbursts now. But
those the eyes on that figure is beautiful. And yeah, there are those two variations. And honestly, the memorial box Hydra is also really beautiful. I know we'll talk about it later, but if you imagine all that black actually being green, it's a cool toy. And it was Hydra before everyone decided Hydra was cool too.
So they started using different licensing stickers at the time. I have what is, the one that we saw throughout most of the 90s and 2000s until they changed it to the 62.
It's the Marvel icon, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always thought about putting together a little, because again, I'm a nerd, putting together a little list that shows the changes in the product stickers.
See,
like
Rich,
I went through, like I understand what the numbers on the back of these tags are now, just because that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, the little product stickers as they changed over the years and eventually added dates, and now they're printed.
Well, what I like about the old tags is on the very end of the barcode is the yen price.
The price. Yeah.
Which they don't do now because I don't think they want you knowing what these things cost.
Because it used to be 3 sets of numbers. Now it's 2. It was like the Godzilla series number, then the unique figures number, and then the yen price.
1,200.
Also, another way you could tell was the color of the sticker. I don't remember what the price point was, but you see this one has a gold sticker. Gold sticker figures cost more than silver sticker figures. I don't know what the yen price cutoff was for that, but that is a difference that you would see would be the color of the sticker indicative of the price range.
I know they switched to the Marvel Godzilla sticker pretty soon, like late in 93. So I guess Rich's Hetero was probably a post 93 release. And these two in my photo are probably both around the same time, which again just means they're painting these differently in the factory. These aren't separate issues. These are just how they were painting them, it seems like.
It's like bull marks.
Yeah.
Also, this is what I love about collecting. We're sitting here and based on the shape on a sticker. Oh, well, this was a 93 figure as opposed to a 92. I mean, they didn't care. That's what I love about this sort of thing, where it's not
tells a story.
Yeah, and it tells all sorts of stories, and it's not meant to be. This is the rare 1993 with the gold sticker that has the Marvel Godzilla on it.
This is the one you have to go to a special art show somewhere in buttfuck Japan.
And
$60.
I say all of this with a bunch of Toy Graph figures on one side of me and a bunch of Marmots and M1s on the other side. So I mean, yeah, I'm picking.
I mean, Bullmark wasn't made to be collectible, but
yeah, but it's a real difference, and it's collecting toys versus collecting things in some ways. That's my rant for the day. Hey, come here.
There's this guy.
Hard to find this guy. Not somewhat broken.
Yeah, or he was never really in demand either.
No,
he's always sort of flown under radar. I think people often forget he even exists.
Yeah,
the plastic can break, the arms can bend, the eyes can scratch.
It's a very tiny figure too.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's so cool.
Yeah.
But
cool tag.
The Dream 5 kicks its ass, though. I hate to say that, though. But yeah, I love the old one, but the Dream 5 figure is really
an improvement. After what, 30-something years?
Yeah.
This is my all-time favorite Bandai right here. This is the guy.
That's a great one still.
Yeah.
Like, me and Rich knew which ones to grab and put aside.
Yeah.
I'm holding mine, too.
The one that's freshness.
Well, this is one figure a newer Bandai couldn't even touch. This one's perfect.
Yeah, it's an awesome figure.
Look at that face. Look at the depth of that sculpt. Like, you can feel every scale, every little bit of this guy. Look at that tongue.
And the 6-inch version that came out last year, the year before, it's
2021.
That's when the 6-inch one came out. My God,
yeah,
it's been a while.
Crazy. It's been longer, right?
you know, that one, it does. Yeah, that one is really, really nice. You know, too. I feel like it's almost nearly identical to the original figure here.
I
So,
coincidentally had him nearby.
but yeah, can't. I love this.
6-incher.
93, man. 93 freshness is where it's at.
Somebody really wanted this figure to be great.
Yeah.
Like somebody who made this believe in it.
We're going to get to another one that I think is still really perfect related to the Gorosaurus.
Look at that face.
Great tag.
And that famous publicity shot of him in the Arctic.
But you can see with the tag date on here, but there's also still perforation going on too, which is interesting.
Well, there's perforation.
That is, by the way, it
doesn't actually come off.
Yes.
Perforation doesn't come off, but it's a print.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's crazy. Like, just again, we're talking about licensing stickers because it's so minute. But like, they'll put the licensing sticker almost identical in the same spot on my tag compared to Mike's. You know, so
yeah,
it's just little details that I find. Out.
I remember my Pony Toys stopped getting in Bandai Toys before they ever got the Gorosaurus. And I didn't know it existed until I had to call around to find stores that actually had Bandai's because now I was stuck. And I remember calling one and saying, "What do you have?" And they were like, "Oh, Hedera, King Caesar," which I had, Gorosaurus. And I just remember losing my mind when I heard that. Like I was so excited to get this guy. Like he's perfect. He's perfect.
Gorosaurus.
By the way, your tag is perfect too. Like there's not a bend or a ding on that thing.
I made sure when I upgraded the Gorosaurus, he was one of those figures like Baragon. It had to be perfect. I mean, my original wasn't in bad shape, but there were some scrapes on the head, which you can barely see that I wasn't happy with. So
yeah, and that's one of the things I've often thought about. Maybe there's because you're always looking for some stupid new thing to collect. Like maybe I should go back and upgrade some of my older ones where the tags might be crinkled up or maybe a perforation that's tipped. But honestly, by the time these things ship.
I did this around 2005 when like the value on the Bandai's really started to drop after Godzilla kind of retired a bit.
Well, so X Plus showed up, and the people looking for the realistic stuff. I mean,
I picked but now apparently it is hard to get them tagged because now it's been 20 more years.
I mean, what would you say? It's a stupid question. What's the average price of a tag Bandai from this period?
I guess it depends on which one it is.
That's what I was like. It's a stupid question, but I mean,
I don't keep up with it because now that, like you said, now that I've got it, I don't care.
Yeah.
I feel like because I'm still like looking at Bandai stuff on Yahoo Japan, and Bandai's been a big focus for me like the last year and a half or so. Clearly, because I started recollecting stuff that I had sold some years ago because collecting problems.
Sure.
I feel like something like Gorosaurus or even the Jet Jaguar that we have on screen, probably tagged anywhere from like $50 to $80, give or take. Okay. Maybe it's interesting because some stuff goes under the radar on Yahoo Japan.
Yeah.
I rebought the GMK Ghidorah for like $17. Like that's what the auction ended. And that's not counting the shipping and the fees from buying everything. But I'm like,
yeah,
what? How? That's just about what I paid for it retail when it came out.
Yeah,
in 2002.
Yeah,
so it really depends on the auction, the time it's ending, who's hunting for it. I when it comes to bidding on Yahoo Japan, playing into the time change here in the United States to Japan, that also I think plays a role in how that auction is going to end. If you're competing against other U.S. collectors. But, if I was going to sell my Bandai Jet Jaguar, probably I would go anywhere between $50 or $60, give or take. But I'm not an expert. I mean, I don't say that sarcastically.
Well, yeah, sure.
I'm not the guy, but, value what you have, from a mindset. So,
yeah. And that makes them still, compared to a lot of other things, so much more attainable still for people. I mean, I remember, I would say the cheapest back, because I mean, at least me and Russo, I mean, we were buying these things as they were coming out.
Yeah.
But it was still, even then, like basically new. They were like, what? They'd start between, figure $25 to $35.
Yeah.
Well, so them being like 80, I mean, that's.
Yeah. Well, I got lucky at Pony Toys. I figure like Jet Jaguar, if they had gotten it, which they didn't, would have been $1,550. That was their price for the 8-inch figures. But once they stopped getting them, I jumped up to $25.
Yeah,
that's how much Gorosaurus cost.
Nope.
So
even nowadays, you got the 6-inch stuff.
You can't get a 6-inch Godzilla figure for $25 now, though.
Yep.
You're like starting at 30.
Yeah, 30, 35.
Mm-hmm.
And that's buying directly from like the Godzilla store too.
Yep, like Bagan, however, Bagan, because that's a bigger 6-inch figure compared to the rest of the line now, $30.
I mean, to be fair, the ones you can get at like stores here from Bandai Namco, those start at 20. But back 20 years ago, those figures were like 700 yen, which now would be $5.
I'm just like curious.
So, I mean, this Ghidorah right over here would have been $20 in 1998, 60.
The yen on this guy, which was the first Godzilla Island figure, we're talking about the 6-inchers, was $6. Well, 6 yen, so like what, $5?
With the exchange now, it would be about $5. But now the same figure would be $30.
Yep.
In the Godzilla store.
Before all the import taxes and all the other fun stuff now.
Anything interesting on this Jet Jaguar?
It's Jet Jaguar.
Just
it's for a long
actually
time,
nice paint on that guy.
Jet Jaguar, other than the
no silver paint.
Yeah,
they're doing the iridescent vinyl thing again. They don't want to use silver.
Yeah, that's a nice figure though. And then we have the King Seesaw.
Yeah, this guy's due for an upgrade. Hopefully, one of these days, Bandai goes back to him.
Yeah,
all they did was shrink him down for the 6-incher.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Tag for him.
That's King Seesaw.
And
this guy,
classic. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Love it.
Yep.
I regret not having one of them in my collection.
Now that you put me on screen, I did my 62 episode with the Bandai figures, and short story because I can brag. Sorry, or blab. When I first discovered eBay in 2004, and I put in Godzilla toys or Bandai Godzilla figures or whatever, and an army of figure auctions showed up, and I'm like, oh my, what have I done? This was the first figure I bought, and I remember just having the vibes like I could finally have it now because it was my first eBay Bandai purchase ever, and I love this figure. It's perfection.
It's perfect, and the tag is so different from everything else because it's actually the copyrights.
I mean that tag.
That is cool.
Yeah, because
that's a cool tag.
You'll notice that the sticker is different from the copyright holders from Kong.
What does that sticker even mean? What is?
I did know. I might have written it up on Club Tokyo or on my own stuff. I did look it up. I think it's KIP. There's someone who would know off the top of their head.
Because I know the
KIP, and it's basically the company that owned the rights to Kong at the time.
Because I know what the acronym on the foot means. Because there's a long acronym on the foot, Rich.
Mm.
That is, I like Turner Entertainment Company, all rights reserved, or something like that.
Yeah.
But I never knew what the sticker meant.
I can look it up. I can find out because I used to know, which means I've got it written down somewhere. It might be in the old Super 7 article I wrote about Bandai tags.
Yeah. Too. Mike, you're right about the stamp on the foot because it's actually on the tag. Turner Entertainment Co. All rights reserved. So that's what that is on the bottom of the foot. So if you,
I'm so lame. I figured that out without even looking at the tag.
Good man.
I'm way too much of a nerd.
But it's still like one of the 2 best 62 Kong.
Yeah.
And the other one isn't theoretically an official release. And it's the one that's not Marmot.
Oh, that one, yeah.
It's a great toy. It's a great toy.
I got that.
That Bandai to me,
Not Marmot
Elvis hairdo is still the great, amazing figure.
I got 93 Godzilla.
Yep.
Reissue of the Bato.
Metallic blue fins, which is the big giveaway.
Yeah.
There we go with the Marvel sticker. I got this. This is when the movie first came out, so this is gonna be one of the earliest ones with the Marvel Godzilla licensing sticker.
It's interesting that they would use the Marvel.
Yeah, right.
Symbol, but it's I love that poster. By the way, it's one of my favorite.
That's also. I think the vinyl on this one's different too. I think this is when they moved from that black vinyl to that charcoal gray vinyl.
I think you're right.
But I'm going on
Nice
memory
figure.
of things I've not read up in a while.
There's a Mechagodzilla. Not the best sculpt proportionally, but I think the paint is good on it.
Yeah. It's a decent figure, you know. The Rodan. I remember seeing the Rodan in my local nerd bookstore, and being you know, not being up on the fact that they were still continually putting out Godzilla movies at the time. Just being like, wow. Especially looking at the tag with the with that, you know, with that poster. And being blown away by that. So yeah. Of course, then you get Baby Godzilla, which is
it's a cool figure.
Really nice sculpt for that. Actually, it looks very suit accurate.
The one that was released after 1995, the 96 one is just
For the Forever series?
the beautiful one.
Beautiful.
So beautiful.
Yeah. Speaking of 1995, we're moving to 1994.
Don't have too much. This
No.
guy. The
Good
guy.
luck finding this guy with his antennae.
If you look at it wrong, they fall off.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome figure though.
Yes.
Super cool.
Love it.
Not only do the antenna fall off, like mine, the antennas are attached, but you can actually look at one and see where it looks like if I look at it wrong, it's going to fall off.
It's just going to fall right off. Yeah.
But also the scooper under his nozzle, his mouth, whatever you want to call it, both can pop out, and it's plastic. So seeing one that clear,
yeah,
browned out by now.
Yeah, I am so happy mine is as nice as the day I got it. Like even the scooper never discolored.
I gotta go look at mine and see now. I'm curious if mine's discolored.
And you know, the thing is, if you do break those antenna, good luck repairing them. I mean, if you put glue on it or whatever, it's still gonna be, because they're so thin. Even the pictures just don't let you see how thin these things are.
Yep.
A dab of glue is still gonna stand out. It's just.
I'll give them credit for like trying to like make it as accurate as possible, but they did not make a very durable figure.
No. I mean, it's still probably, I mean, of that price range at least, best Mogera that's been made.
Yeah. Yep.
But
it's amazing they even made one.
Yeah.
The purpose, the suit has a little, you can't really see it in the photo. It's a little plastic shovel on the suit. Yeah. It's so hard to see on film. You can see it in photos more. Yeah. But
I don't want to watch that movie today now.
And if you watch Experience when he's like, you know, drilling through things, that's what the shovel is. It's scooping things in.
Now this is.
I'm just trying to be a completist by including these. I mean,
to me, they're a part of the Yamato Takaro figures.
Is that what these are from? Yamato Takaro? I've never seen it.
Look at this damn thing. Look at that. Look at that thing though. This thing is huge. It's like a foot tall.
Yeah. And this was
is it?
God.
Yeah.
They're from '94. It's all the same special effects people from the Godzilla movies are in it.
Yeah.
Same suit actors are in the movie.
Yep. Kawakida's effects.
It's obviously a Kawakita movie.
Obviously, yeah.
Sun God's a great figure. The first one, the samurai looking one. You got to have the sword accessory. It comes on a tree, like a model kit sword would, and in a little plastic bag. I think it's attached to the tag in some way. I'd have to
on the back. Yeah.
But it's a cool figure.
And then this thing,
the Bird of Paradise is what it is.
Yeah. This thing is what it is as well. It's not much going on with this.
It is what it is.
This thing is cool because the tendrils are rubbery like Biollante.
Yeah. And if you're a collector, you not only have to look for the tag, but you also come bagged in a header card.
I kept the header card. I didn't keep the bag.
Yeah, but if you get him tagged, you still don't have a header card. If you're someone who doesn't have him yet,
they will probably now this guy
and this guy. Good God,
this is an impressive figure.
This thing is
almost feet long. If you don't have him, you don't know how impressive this figure is. I have him up on my top shelf up there, and the heads just hang off the shelf, and you can kind of see how deep these shelves are.
Yeah,
his heads just hang over, staring at you. They're so big,
and every neck is articulated at the base of the neck and the base of the head. So like you can move those heads around and really get some personality out of this damn toy.
And it's the sculpt is, I mean, you can tell in the body is kind of stumpy, but quite frankly, that's how he was in the movie.
And this thing is like in scale with the warrior god, because the warrior god like a foot tall. This thing's a foot tall, but it's like 2 feet long.
It's huge, and it comes boxed, and it's a beautiful box. With images of him on it. It's the figure that of all of these that Godzilla collectors really go for. Obviously,
and to get basically a big thing in the box, you have to turn every neck backwards to get it fit.
And the box, I mean, my box is flat. I have it somewhere, but it's like
it's a big box.
The box is huge.
Cool.
All right, moving on to Space Godzilla stuff. There's the '92 Godzilla sculpt again.
Yeah.
This one's got the first one I own that has a soft vinyl body.
Yep, me too. That's what I was trying to remember. If I knew it was between the 93 and 94 when it, and it's also now we have gatefold tags.
Yep.
So that standard thing.
That's the beginning of the gatefold stuff. So we've gone 31 years with gatefold tags now.
Yeah.
God, that's crazy. And then we have Space Godzilla himself, the star of the new MonsterVerse movie.
Speaking of 31 years old, they still use this sculpt.
Yeah, I was going to say kind of a boring pose and figure, but they still really haven't done any better with him.
I'll tell you, though, when I first got this thing, the size impressed me. I mean, it's tall, it's long, it's
bigger than Godzilla, right?
It is.
Yeah, I'm looking at him. Oh, yeah, I'm looking at him now. Like, Godzilla goes up to his shoulders.
Like, that's when they cared about scaling.
Yeah, he is.
But it's like the sculpt doesn't hold up now, but the size and the color were really impressive when I first got it. The crystals are a real disappointment, though. The back.
It's interesting. Yeah, boy, they should have been clear, but we're in a different world thinking about that now.
I just mean what they did to the back crystals, Brian. If you go back a few frames, few slides, that back, that's just it's the molding process. It's what they had to do.
Yeah.
With the big gap, you mean, between the
before they cast them as a whole separate piece. This is what they had to do, and
and it's interesting. It's turned out to be one of the classic sculpts, really, because it's another one that's been reused over and over and over again.
Look, wait before you go on. I mean, this was last year.
Same thing.
Look, problem paint on this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, even the back fins are
the back has the same problem.
Thing. And they use the same basic mold to make Super Godzilla. Also, back fins the same way.
Yeah, so it's weird that this is one that's become really one of the Bandai classic sculpts.
This is the only one they still use after all these years.
And there we have the quote upgraded Magara. I prefer the original.
Yeah,
I do too.
Not much to say about this guy. The nose fins, that's something.
You know, if you wanted to pick one Mogera like this, it would be the DX one, not this one.
The transforming one, I love that toy.
If you want a toy, it's that one. Oh my god, it's so amazing. Same with the Mecha Godzilla from '93, really. But
the best vinyl of the Bandai Mogeras is the 2003 6-inch.
Yeah,
which paints all the little vents and stuff.
Yeah.
Then we got Little Godzilla.
Not the mama.
Hendrick.
Still maybe the best Little Godzilla that's been done now.
It's pretty good.
He was one of the last of those I actually got, and actually I really liked him when I got him. He was a little chunkier. No pun intended with the way he looks, but he had more bulk than I thought he would.
I don't have the new Bandai one yet, but it does look really good.
It's very nice.
I have to pick him up. I'll be looking for him next week. I'm going to Recon, so
yeah, it's pretty good. And there's the tag for him.
There we go. That's this guy up here.
Yeah, that's a beautiful.
This guy was the centerpiece of my collection for a very long time. He stood up on a high shelf, actually on a high dresser, and just overlooked my entire collection. Like this guy's amazing.
He's another one that's much bigger than you think he is.
Yeah. Well, once you get the tail on.
Yeah, much longer than you think he is.
I mean, I know we're living in a world where, X Plus puts out Gigantics all the time, but back then, the only thing that touched this was the big Kyoto kit. Other than that, you didn't get Godzillas this big.
No.
It's
bigger than the 64, too.
Bigger, definitely. Bigger than the 64.
So it leads us to 95, which is the last of the years that we are looking at for this specific Bandai episode, which is obviously the year that Godzilla died. never to be seen again.
Milton
Nope.
Dunn.
That was it.
And that was it for the series.
So now we have our first matte vinyl Bandai Godzilla figure.
It's also the first new Godzilla sculpt since what, 92.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
This guy
cool.
would have greatly benefited from some either translucent or a much brighter orange.
And this is the first time the soft vinyl is now the standard.
Yeah.
And you know, at the time too, you know about the clear things. That wasn't even still. It was very much like for kids. It was changing because we're getting ready to start getting.
Yeah, I mean the cost for making them for doing it, you know, translucent.
I gotta say, in '95, I was 16, and at that point, because of G-Fan, I knew people in the collecting community, and we were really excited about this toy. Like, yeah, looking back at it now, 30 years later, yeah, but we were really impressed by it. Just to get
literally 30 years later.
Just to get a new sculpt finally.
Yeah, like I said, it's the first one since '92, and you know, it's a great sculpt. But no, I mean when he came out, I mean, Burning Godzilla was not as he was called Burning Godzilla then, not Desagoji, honestly.
Yeah,
and we didn't have any.
I mean, he wasn't as to me. He was never as impactful as he is now as a figure or character.
We didn't have any preconceived notions to like how Burning Godzilla should even look.
Yeah, it wasn't even until the Marmot came out that it became a thing. Like,
Yeah,
this was just cool. It's a new Godzilla. It cost, if I remember, $35.
Yeah,
and we got it and moved on because there were 3 other versions of this figure that were much better that came out in the next year or 2. So,
gatefold tags again.
Great toy.
Rare poster.
Huh. This is another one. Huh. Huh.
Still great.
Love it.
But just the amount of parts on that thing.
Yeah.
The amount of parts that move.
Yeah. From his arm, big up shoulder arms, all these move, tail moves.
And it was another 1,200 yen toy.
He was a secret toy, wasn't he? I remember because they didn't want to give away.
No, no, he wasn't. They didn't keep.
Okay.
They didn't keep the aggregate a secret. He was the first destroyer they showed off.
I was trying to remember which one was the secret. Maybe it was a big one.
It was Junior. Junior was kept the secret.
It was Junior. Okay.
Yeah. No, this one, the Burning Godzilla came out like the last week of October, and I can't believe I remember this. And the 2 destroyers were released together in mid-November.
Yeah.
Bandai wanted to hide the final stage. Toho wanted to hide it, but Bandai said no. We need to release this figure. You can't hide it.
Yeah.
And it was Junior they compromised on.
And this is the figure those with not so sharp eyes will see being pushed around on sticks and strings in the actual movie.
Yeah, it's in the movie. You're right.
Yeah, a bunch of them, right, are in the movie.
And it took 30 years for Bandai to go back to this one. They're finally doing it again.
That's a great.
What is there to improve on? That's the thing.
You know what? Honestly, it doesn't look as good.
I mean, maybe
it doesn't look as good.
The details are a little muddied, you know, because it was being brought down the size. I was excited for it when I first saw it, and then I looked in a little bit closer. I was like, yeah, but again, it's a smaller figure, and to pack the detail onto something smaller like the original 8-inch has here, like there's a lot of detail on that damn thing.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see the aggregate getting some, movie monster series love after.
Maybe they'll do the flying one this time.
Yes,
let's go. Cool. That'd be really cool. And then we got the big boy himself.
Chunky.
No wings. I mean, we got wings, but
the wings are folded down, which is fine. I mean,
I think it's a great figure for what it is. It's chunky. Yeah. But, I mean, all of Kawakida's characters were chunky at this.
But unlike Space Godzilla, this guy is not very big. I mean, Godzilla comes up to the horn when he should come up to the neck.
Yeah. And I mean, we all complained even back then that the wings were folded in, but
I couldn't. Yeah, I don't know how they would do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Bandai has not had a good track record with Destroyer figures, at least this version of Destroyer. Like they're doing another one this month that doesn't even look that great.
It's also doesn't Bandai, what's the Ultraman series, the 500 series?
Yeah.
Those are like smaller than 6-inch scales.
Yes.
So I think that's what it looks like what we're getting with these new movie monster series. If you think about the recent Godzilla 2000 that came out, that's like 4.5 inches or 5.5 inches tall.
Yeah,
something like that.
but
You know,
weirdly, they're oversizing Showa stuff.
Yeah.
The Dream 5 Anguillus, Varan, Ibera, the Minya, the 55 Anguillus are like 8-inch scale.
No complaints for that though.
I'm happy with that. I mean, they're beautiful toys, but the scale is inconsistent these days. It's all over the place. But I don't judge the Bandai toys on that. I don't, as long as they look cool, I don't care.
Yeah, solid.
I love
solid
this figure.
Yep.
Yeah, love the color. I love the sculpt. Love they nailed the face. Beautiful
this
toy.
guy had to wait until after the movie came out to get released.
He came out in January, I think. All these movies came out in December.
This toy hit my dealer New Year's Eve of '95. We drove into the city that morning to pick it up.
And just because you mentioned 95, that's another thing I'll point out is when we talk about like Godzilla 95, the movies were actually released in 94 in December for the holidays. So when we talk about the 95 Godzilla, it was released in 94. Godzilla 2000 was released in 99. So
yeah, Bandai likes to add like the year later to the suit years, so it looks more current.
Right. So, but yeah. So, and then there's this guy.
So
this was really the beginning of it.
this was insane. Like the handful of months between before the movie came out and a few months after it came out, I have never seen the kind of collecting frenzy,
the demand
that happened then. Between the memorial box, this thing, just trying to find a copy of the movie, like it was insane.
It's so insane. Well, go back if you don't mind. Yeah, because I'll point out, and I think Rich has already brought out both of them, their tag variations, because the figure was so much in demand that it got a second release outside of the theater.
Mail away.
Yeah. The little round sticker, that's the one that was in the theater.
Yep.
So if you care either about tag variations or about really having the first one of these, it's that one that Rich is holding with a little white round sticker on it.
Yep.
The other one was a later mail order release.
Yep.
And this was also one, I want Russo's going to have to back me on this, where it was the first one where you started getting exclusive versions of a figure showing up. There are the TV Kun versions, magazine versions.
I remember buying those kind of magazines at the bookstore at the Yalhan Plaza, and discovering like the solid red, white, and blue versions of this figure. Yeah, like realizing, holy shit, they're making like exclusives that I'll never be able to own.
When was the last time you saw one even for sale at this point?
I don't think I ever have, but like, it's nuts that like it's easy for someone who's younger and got into this later to look at the theater exclusives and say, well, they've been doing that for decades. What's the big deal? But then in 95, it was insane. Like
now theater exclusives are like they're the cheap exclusive to get.
Yeah.
It's easy to get them. This thing, and it's a different world too, like we're saying, like we were going through dealers.
We didn't have the internet.
It is, yeah. And the internet was very limited. It was like, without getting into it, was collecting groups and maybe Club Tokyo, right?
And the important thing to remember is
it's forum.
Just figures like this that were an exclusive or rare, people were paying $300 for. Then you found an 80s figure, you could flip that. If you found it for like $50, you can flip it for $300 like the next day. Bandai's were white hot, and then along comes this thing where no one knew if they'd actually be able to get it.
Yeah.
Because nothing like that even existed. You had dealers fighting with each other. Like
dealers were taking pre-order lists.
But dealers were like attacking each other in their advertisements.
Yep.
Like don't get clubbed in the price of this kaiju. If I remember that one.
Yeah,
like they were fighting with each other for the best prices. I got mine at Showcase. But like 3 months later, it was like $300.
Yeah.
$100, I mean.
I got mine from Jim. I think he was doing a pre-order, which was not a guaranteed pre-order, right? I mean, it's like, get on the list if I can get them.
Yeah,
you'll get it.
Hello,
excuse my phone,
Martha.
My name is Saul Rosenberg.
That's my house phone. Yes, I have a house phone.
Yeah, this is where it kind of began. Then you get to this guy.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. This is a big boy. And that's now we have the memorial box.
Yep.
The first
love this
memorial
box.
box, which I do not have. Yeah,
and again, this thing dropped back when half the toys in this box people were having a hard time finding.
And most of them are significant variants from the ones you could find elsewhere. Like the Gigan, for example, we're talking about that classic black shiny vinyl. It's like a pale blue in soft vinyl that's matte.
And the 62. Well, I have pictures of all of them. So
the 62 is amazing. Obviously, I would think that.
Yeah,
some of them are lackluster. Mechagodzilla, the Showa Mechagodzilla is kind of lackluster.
I mean, the 62 lost the original fins. I don't know the story behind that.
Same spike. I actually know it wasn't. It's the move from the hard vinyl to the soft vinyl causes more shrinkage.
Got the is there? I mean, that looks more or less the same.
I mean,
silver instead of gold, and a different brown.
No paint on the eye either.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Jesus Christ, it is way different. I'll just shut up.
So next up would be Mothra.
Very, very little difference there.
No metallic paint on the sides though.
Yeah. And then this is silver instead of gold.
No gold.
I can't remember what's on the back. I'd have to pull him out.
Of Rodan?
Yeah.
No, there's no color on the back of this Rodan.
Okay, I thought there was a silver spray, but that's me.
This Rodan is so soft. There is styrofoam in the wings to help them keep their shape.
Really?
Yes.
Yep.
Interesting.
Which doesn't really add that much weight, you know.
No.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's like a sliver of styrofoam in there.
Yeah. This guy's boring.
People were happy it came out. At that point, this was one of the most expensive of the 80s figures.
Yep. Because it was hard to get. And then you can't tell so much here, but he's in green instead of black.
Yeah.
He's the only one in the set. Hedra is the only one in the set that's hard vinyl too.
Yeah, that's true. Because of the eyes, probably.
Probably keep the eyes, yeah.
And again, there's that blue I was talking about for the Gigan, which made him one of the most in-demand ones when people broke up the box.
And they moved Megalon's arm up to show the only difference this one's got is the pink on the leg.
The silver.
Don't know why.
I like the blue on the Gigan more than the original.
Yeah, it's cool, right? It's more like in the movie posters and stuff.
Yeah.
He's boring, both of them.
Two different Godzillas there.
I mean, I prefer the original releases of the Showa Mechagodzilla specifically, but that's before what we're talking about.
He's got metallic pink something on the neck. That's how you know.
Yeah. Okay. We got a Batra.
Yeah, just non-metallic. So
everything is flat.
And Space Godzilla and Magara.
I think Space Godzilla is a different blue. Was it?
Yep.
Space Godzilla is a different base color. Is that right?
Yes. The colors on that Space Godzilla are really nice.
Yeah. And I can't remember what's different about Mogera.
Honestly. The blue treads are lighter.
Yeah,
they're lighter
on the drills.
Yeah. So that's the memorial box.
Well, the memorial box also, you're showing all the little cards. There's a card for each figure.
Yeah,
unlike the later
poster,
the later memorial box, these are specifically keyed to each figure.
Yeah, which is nice.
It's really nice. Space Godzilla had two different posters so that they each got a different one.
Right. Yeah.
Which is cool too. Yeah.
And the box itself is kind of amazing. I bought it.
It's awesome.
Box. And it was another one when it came out was heavily in demand. The box, the whole set was. I mean, you can get the whole set now for a few $100s, I think, but it was over 1,000 at one point.
Yeah. Well, the figures that nobody wanted, dealers couldn't give away for a long time.
Right.
Like the Godzilla 62 and the King Ghidorah were the big sellers. Then you had like Megalon and Hedorah, and then you had the Anguillus nobody wanted, the Mogera that nobody wanted.
Yeah. Oh.
I think at this point, this is more valuable as a complete set. When back in 1996, when people started getting it, there was more value to it as individual toys because you could buy it for $300 and just sell a King Ghidorah and a 62 and make your money back. Now I think it's more valuable as a set.
And y'all have heard me preach about breaking up sets before. It breaks my heart. But now with the box, with the box, you get the box and there's paperwork and the cards. A lot of times when you buy the figures individually on the cards are what makes rebuilding a memorial box set difficult.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, you don't have some of the they're not wrapped in their plastic or whatever,
but
you don't have
now
those cards, you don't have a set.
But now 30 years later,
and they're not attached, they're not tagged. Sorry, I just wanted to say that.
And that plastic handle on top of the box,
it breaks.
It breaks.
I had to replace mine. I got it when I first got my Memorial box. I lifted it and it immediately broke. It was just so thin. I mean, it was really thin. So I replaced it with I got sitting beside me a nice hard thick one. But if I ever did sell it, I've got to say that it's been replaced.
Yeah.
It was very thin. It will literally break from its own weight. I mean, 14 8-inch figures. It's heavy.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing though? I think I spent about $300 on this thing when it came out, and there was 14 8-inch figures.
Yep.
The Dream 5 box has 5 6-inch figures, and it cost $160.
It'd be interesting to do the inflation on that, honestly.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you can really do a 1-1 comparison. So what's the inflation?
Because even the 50th Memorial box had 20 figures. And that was about $300.
I think I spent about $300 because I got it when it came out. I got it over there. I was looking to see if it had the price on it. I think it does, but
the yen price I think it's 198,000 yen.
Yeah.
The same price as the first Memorial box. They were the same yen price.
So I spent $700 on my 50th, but that was
then. Yeah, that was
later. 2014 probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's it go for now? A complete Memorial box?
Probably 1,000 or more, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, now that Bandai's reissuing so many of those molds,
I wonder if it's less now.
Not in as high demand. The big one in that set that they haven't touched is the 62.
The 62.
Yeah.
For a long time,
it
was the 84.
The 84 and the 62 are always the big ones.
The 84, but the 84 figure was a big deal for a long time.
It was the 55, the 62, the 64, the 67, the 68, and the 84. And all but the 62 and 67 have been re-released. So there's less incentive to go after it. Unless you're like a Bandai purist and you want everything.
And the box isn't as cool as the original Memorial box. It's just a big blue box with a silver Godzilla on it.
It's much more classy.
Final word on it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is Bandai 90 to 95.
Can we just quickly mention the Forever series in 96?
Yeah, we can mention it. Or we can do a whole other episode on it.
We're going to keep breaking these down into like chunks.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I only mention that just because they were so heavily attached to the figures we already.
That's true,
about. And they're so much more beautiful.
Yeah,
to a one than anything that came before them. But that may mean it's a good way to start something.
Yeah, because the next time we do this, we're getting into the Mothra stuff, so we should have some. We should have some cool shit to talk about.
Now there's some cool Mothra stuff.
I say the next one should be from Godzilla Forever until the end of the Toho Kaiju series, before the movie Monster series comes out.
So the first 12.
Like, that should be like that chunk from Godzilla Forever to Mothra. No, to Godzilla versus Megaguirus, which is a lot less than you think.
2000. It's a lot less.
Yeah, so I won't need 135 slides for that.
No. Well, the thing I'll also say about things we've not talked about from this same time period, though, is so much awesome gashapon, so much awesome candy
electronic toys,
figure sets. Honestly, the best era for king size toys too. I mean, the Mecha Godzilla,
the king scale Mecha Godzilla,
the Mogera, the king scale Mecha Godzilla is
a whole different.
Find a better one.
Sparkwalk Space Godzilla actually has light up crystals.
Light up pieces.
Destroyer's got the wings.
Yeah, I mean, we're really hitting on just the things most people care about. But I mean, just the sheer amount of stuff that started coming out, especially, I mean, it was 92 really with the Mothra movie, that terrible movie that was so popular at the time.
93, when they got a robot in there, is when Bandai really, because they did the real action series with the rubber.
The walkers,
with the plastic
walkers too. Yeah,
because that was because the RC Godzilla came out that year, and Bandai's like, well, let's copy that.
Yeah, and it was about this time that and when Marmot are showing up. About when we're stopping is about when you have these guys showing up, and that changed everything.
We didn't even mention when Bandai reissued 10 bull marks.
Right. Yeah, we didn't even go.
That was
the original Toho Kaiju series.
Yeah, when the bull. Right around the time the Toy Museum came out, like people were like reevaluating the old toys, so Bandai put out 10 bull marks, and that was a big deal at the time. I remember like Pony Toys got them, and the manager was like, "This is a big deal because the
Megalon and the Mecha Godzilla."
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, it's.
I saved
So
a few
much.
questions and comments for the end because I felt like it'd be a good way to wrap up the show.
Yeah.
So we'll start with this one, and they all kind of tie into this one. I'm sure I know the answer that you all will give. But from DJ C, I got a question. Do you guys keep the tags on or tags off? Some take them on, some take them off, some leave them on. Most of my stuff from from after, let's say, 2004 to 1995, I took the tags off of. I keep the tags on everything I get now for the most part. But I'm not hardcore one way or the other. Like, I keep the tags no matter whether they're on or off, though. But look, I mean, from some of the other comments, like Robert D said the same thing. He used to take them off unless it's inconvenient, which is kind of how I feel.
I will say
Mark
this:
says
older
he took his
toys,
off, and
older toys don't bother me as much because they're bigger. I feel like the gatefolds on the newer toys are large enough to overwhelm the figures, and
That's
even though I leave them on, man, I really wish I could take the tag off of my Varan and off of my Ibera. I wish I could just have the toys without the tag so I can appreciate the sculpt, but I'm not going to do that. Because now I have the Dream 5 Gabra, it's got no tag on it, and it's like, well, he looks weird with the Varan, Titanosaurus, and Ibera. Like, it's like, I wish I could take the tags off of all of them. I'm not going to do it, but I spent so much time reattaching tags that I don't want to, you know.
All of mine are attached, except 62, which did not come attached. Well, that's earlier. Sorry, this period. Rich and I, though, were talking about this earlier. Or maybe on while we're on here, I can't remember. Like, you know, those little tag holders are plastic, and like all the other plastic we're talking about, sometimes it's just going to break. You haven't done anything wrong. You haven't dropped it.
The only figure I won't.
I think I have 2 Jet Jaguar and maybe one other one where the tag just one day was not attached.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's plastic. It gets brittle.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
probably I was
right there.
somehow putting pressure against it, or was weight on it in some way that I wasn't aware of, and eventually, right there it is.
Yeah, and the plastic. This is definitely weighing down too. Yeah. So
that's one of those first ones from the early '80s, right there. That's those. I mean, think about the amount of time on that.
Yeah, it's true.
Those plastic tags, they're still cardboard, but those plastic tags with their lamination, that'll even, because of time. I've seen them with the lamination half peeled off.
Mm-hmm. The only figure I haven't retagged is the original Mulgara, because I don't want to take a blow dryer to the head.
No, don't touch the original Mulgara ever.
No. So the tag stays with it. I won't reattach it.
Mine's tagged, and I have it up on a shelf that's frighteningly high, but way at the back.
Nice.
Like it could be propped up and everything. I mean, because he's also, that's another thing about that figure. He's fragile. He's got wee little feet.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that was cool. Thanks for doing it. Thanks to everybody for tuning in, especially for being patient with the slideshow snafu that we were not aware of, but we're aware of it now.
Now we know,
and it'll never happen again. I promise you. I'll never ever start the show on mute ever again, even though 2 of the last 3 shows I've started with myself on mute. Let's just do it on purpose every episode.
It makes
read our lips.
Yeah. So we've got ideas for upcoming episodes. Obviously, we're going to continue down the Bandai path. That won't be the next one. I do want to do collection reviews. At some point, I'm going to ask for submissions for people to send in pictures of their collections. Me and Rich Cox, we're talking about doing one on maybe just on some kaiju books.
Collecting books.
Yeah, collecting books.
I want to see my Crusoe grin here. I want to do of all of the, because people tend to think of 1 or 2 books. And we can probably all name them, but there are other books that are really good and important and MOOCs about collecting Godzilla and Ultraman toys.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what kind of Japanese books are out there. I've seen so many.
I
can't find photos of this. I can't find photos of that. And I'm like, that's because you're looking online. There are so many books.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think people, and apparently, and some of these are actually collectible now, apparently, like Yuji's first book. So we can do that.
we can
People
do.
don't know
I was
what's out there
thinking.
in Japanese. I was telling someone the other day, they were asking me about Vinyl Paradise figures because I'm the person you ask about Vinyl Paradise figures.
I'd like
I was
to
like,
talk.
well, there's this book that has everything with pictures and all the variations.
Yeah, I would like to do. Honestly, I would like to do M1. We'd have to break that down into multiple episodes.
I'd like to do vintage one of these days.
Yeah, we did vintage.
We
You
did.
did?
Come on, Mike, you
It
were
was a
there.
quickie.
Yeah, you and Rich. It was Rich's first
did?
episode. Yeah.
Oh, we did.
Oh my god.
We could do a lot more with vintage than
Like,
we
I
did.
didn't. Yeah, I know we did.
Yeah, I mean, oh, we definitely could.
did.
There-
You
I
know
mean,
what we
it's-
didn't do? We did the vintage though. Popey.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Popey's something.
Because how do you do it? I mean, possibly the greatest Godzilla collectible ever is a Popey figure.
yeah, maybe.
So you
I
make me
think
wonder
the-
Are you
what-
going to actually argue the giant?
No, I'm
Popey?
not gonna argue.
I mean, seriously. Oh my god.
I think the next episode, however, will probably be.
You mean this? Oh,
No,
Damn.
I mean the giant one. I mean,
Will probably.
oh, that.
probably
the
be
big box
cocktail
one
night.
that
I
the
think we're gonna do
Mattel's
next.
based on.
I'm having a whole
Okay.
different conversation. Mike and Rich are
Sorry.
in their little world.
Sorry.
This
Yeah,
is
I think the
important.
next episode is going to be cocktail night. Rich, you said you would be down for that. Hopefully, you guys can all do it. I know Nev is down, always down for cocktail night. So that'll probably be next. I don't know what the topic will be. It might not be anything. It might just be hanging out. But we'll
Mhm.
see. But yeah, in the meantime, Mr. Fresh Vinyl, anything you want to plug?
Next episode of the Bandai Marathon, because all things Bandai right now, it's up on the table, doing Mothra versus Godzilla. I've got an X Plus figure on the way from Hobby Search, so I'll be doing some video review on that. But it's all I got upcoming wise. So boom,
Cool.
I got. Thank you.
Mike, anything you want to add? No? Join Godzilla
this
Collectors
was-
Group.
This is
We're over
fun.
7,000 members now.
Yep. Join the Godzilla Collectors Group.
Yeah.
Yep.
7,000 members strong. And 30 of them contribute actively. But Mr. Cox, thank you for joining.
very welcome.
Everyone, if you're not in the Club Tokyo Facebook group, you should check that out. And if you don't check out the Club Tokyo website, you are missing out on an incredible resource for just, my God, just so much
best thing about
information.
the best thing about the site, I always say, first off, it's all Mike's toys that are up mostly, not mine. But it doesn't go away after a day after you post it on social media. It's still going to be there when you ask your question.
That's right. And by Mike Johnson's toys he was talking about, not
Yes.
Mike Russo's toys.
But I love the Club Tokyo site because it's referenced. You can reference it by character. If you want to
Yeah.
see all the Gabra toys that's ever been done, you just go to the Gabra section, and that's just everything.
Yeah, it's
Perfection.
awesome. Yeah, it is awesome. It's an incredible resource. So, as for moi, I haven't done a video in a while. Maybe I'll do one before the next episode. I don't know. But if you want to hear me talk more, I do a podcast called Gen X Lounge that sometimes we talk about Godzilla. Mostly we just talk about nerdy stuff and 80s and 90s nostalgia. So that's fun. Next episode, we'll be talking about Andor and The Last of Us.
Oh,
Yeah. So that's it for me. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will be doing another episode in June. Keep your eyes peeled. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bam.
Bye.
thank you for having me.
Oh, you're
Thank
welcome. Thanks for being
Hey,
here.
thanks for being here.
I love
Yeah.
it. I don't get to hang with you guys much anymore.
Oh, you got to do the happy hour with us.
I'd be happy to. I don't do G-Fest much anymore.
I don't either.
because
I know.
Me neither.
JD Lee's. Are we still
Nope.
alive? Actually, I don't care. I have no desire to support that man.
All right, I gotta go. I gotta go make coleslaw. I have a barbecue coming up, and
I just say
I have to bring
reasons that I don't go
coleslaw.
to G-Fest anymore.
I don't think anybody.
They don't have anything to do with the wonderful people that I see and I miss. So
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of fests, so this episode's never going to end. Mike, the next episode, Mike maybe he'll have a report from Kaiju Brooklyn.
Yeah.
because he's going. So
Yeah. Me and Helena are going to check it out next weekend.
yeah, it's always the weekend of my birthday, which sucks. So I never get to go. But I am going to go. So I will go sometime.
It's
I
gone a lot.
really want to go.
The first time I went, it was like in a hallway, the dealer's room. Now they've got like 66 vendors. It's
Yeah, I
like,
really
it's
want
gotten
to
a lot
go.
bigger, and I do want to support it because it's not even that far
I
from me.
really want to go.
And
yeah.
the Bandai Tamashii store is like right there, so I want to
Yeah,
check
that's
that out
cool too.
too.
Yeah.
So
All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We're really going to go this time.
How about some coffee?
Coffee? I like coffee.